Hi, I want to tell you about Steve Jobs' epiphanies. I'm going to give you three examples of his epiphanies. So, first of all, what is an epiphany? I'm talking about a psychological epiphany. What is it? It's, for example, the most famous one is the one when Archimedes shouted Eureka when he was in his bath, and when he realized that he could identify the volume of an irregular object by placing it in water. And he ran out of his bathtub, and that's the story of Eureka. In fact, an epiphany is a Eureka moment. So Steve Jobs had many epiphanies, and one is very famous, and he revealed it in a 1994 interview to a journalist. And he said that when we grow up, we tend to imagine that we have to accept the world the way it is. But if we realize that we can actually be actors of the world and have an impact on it, then this can change our lives. And 3 years later, during the 1997 Think Different campaign, we see a commercial that has a slogan which is, "It is the ones who believe that they can change the world that are the ones who do." And what's very profound to me, it's that when I discovered that, hey, this is his epiphany. He made a commercial out of his epiphany, and when we look at this commercial, the Think Different commercial, we don't see any product. We see Picasso, Einstein, and Gandhi, and John Lennon, people who, had a great impact on this world. So this commercial is not a commercial to promote any product, but to promote a lifestyle, a way of thinking, a way of life. And even we can say that it is a motivational video. And it's, in fact, way after that 1997 Think Different campaign, when people buy Apple products, they don't buy the products for what they are, but for what they represent. In fact, if you're a digital nomad, you prefer having a MacBook than a laptop running on Windows, for example. So another epiphany is when he was young, and he reveals it in another interview. He said that he was looking at the speeds of animals compared to humans. So humans were extremely slow if we compare us to cheetahs or eagles, hawks. But human beings, we are able to create bicycles. A bicycle can double or triple our speeds. But we also made cars and airplanes and rockets. We are augmented people. This proves of our capacity. That's his second epiphany, and I'm gonna go on to the last one. And it's more of a fantasy, a child's dream. And when he went to Sweden in 1985 to meet the directors of a university that bought his computers, he says a speech during dinner in which he says that he's jealous of Alexander the Great, because Alexander the Great had a tutor, who was Aristotle. So Steve Jobs says that we can read Aristotle's books, but we cannot ask him any question. And this is his dream, that to have a device that would allow us to, this is an example, right? Communicating with spirits, but nowadays we have devices that allow us to communicate and interact with people who are at extremely long distances. So these are Steve Jobs' three epiphanies, and this, it reaches his deep psychological levels that triggered his willpower and ambitions, and that guided his ways of doing business.